So, I guess I haven't really met any of you before. My name is Isaac Hansen. I'm the financial advisor that's now responsible for the Hollandia 401k plan. I was working with some of the other folks in setting up the transition from MassMutual over to Vanguard. I'm sure you've received some, formal notices so far about this, but we wanted to come out and kind of make sense of kind of what we're doing, why we're doing it, and make sure that you guys, have the resources to make good decisions within this thing. So before we get started, who's I guess here less than 1 year where this might be kind of your first introduction to the plan? The rest of you have been around a while, have balances that maybe have already come over from the old plan. Okay. So we're gonna, we have 30 minutes. We're gonna run through just a short presentation that Vanguard put together on the basic ins and outs of the 401k plan. As always, one of the roles that we play is being a resource to you. So, we'll go through some basic stuff in the group setting here, but if there's anything beyond that you want help with, you want to sit down and look at your account, you want to ask questions about, am I saving the right way, the right amount, or you have other financial questions, feel free to use this as a resource. Again, my name is Isaac Hansen. I have a couple other people that will be joining us, I guess, for the first group here. Irina and John will be hitting the next group. But I've been with Trilogy Financial since 2005. Very early on, I started working on 401k plans because it became very clear to me that a lot of people just weren't getting the help that they need to make good decisions on these things. We do personal financial planning at Trilogy, and I would sit down with people that had huge accounts and ask them very simple questions about their account, and they really had no idea how their account worked or if they were in the right place. And for a lot of you, this is going to be one of your biggest accounts that you're going to save up over your lifetime. So we want to make sure that you've got good, that it's in the right place. Also, we've been in a pretty nice run in the market for the last, dozen years or so it's not a bad time to take a look at your account and make sure it's where it should be as well. Is there anything pressing that you guys want to make sure that I cover in this 30 minutes? Any particular questions, concerns, or do you want me to just kind of run through the general presentation? I want to make sure that this is as valuable as I can make it for you guys, being this is the first time I've met you. I don't know a whole lot about what you might know about investing, so hopefully we'll get to know you over the years. We will be back and definitely want to be a resource to you. So if you ever do need to reach me, email, phone number, I believe they sent that out to you guys as well, but today we'll stick around. I'm here till 6 o'clock if you want to sit.
Do you have any of your business cards by chance?
I do.
Awesome. I'll grab one on the way out.
So today, obviously, pull us to the side, but in the future, anything that pops up, you have questions, you're considering this or that, and you just want to run it by a financial advisor, that's what we're here for. Vanguard is who's going to be where your account's set up, so that's when you're going to log in and make your transactions and set up your username and password, and we can kind of guide you through that. That's one of the parts of the presentations. We'll show you a real quick demo on what your website looks like for those of you who haven't been in there yet. So, why save in the 401k plan? I'm going to show just a real quick little video here that Vanguard put together on kind of the importance of starting early. Hopefully this thing will work.
Life is busy. Your time is valuable. But some things shouldn't wait, like planning for your future. While retirement may not seem like a pressing priority, the decisions you make today can have a lasting impact. So why save now? Items like food, gas, and healthcare are likely to cost more down the road. And because we're all living longer, you may need to fund your retirement for decades. Unlike other expenses, retirement can't be financed with a loan, and putting off retirement isn't always an option. The great news? Your employer offers a retirement plan to help you get started. You simply determine how much to put into your retirement account from each paycheck. You can always start small and plan to make gradual increases over time. And because savings can be invested before taxes, you can reduce your taxable income. By putting away money now, you position your savings to grow over time. Remember, the money you contribute and any earnings belong to you, to take wherever you go for use in retirement. Now's your opportunity. Ready to make saving a priority? You'll be glad you did. Join the plan today.
Alright, so that's Vanguard's little snippet on getting started early. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there. What the heck? Sorry, technical difficulties here. For some reason we lost the PowerPoint. Okay, well, hopefully, I don't have any good IT folks here, do we? So this is Irina, she's from my team.
Hello, hi.
It's my understanding that some people here who don't speak the greatest English, and Irina's my resident Spanish speaker, so anybody who needs the extra help in Spanish, Irina's here to kind of answer any questions. You know, as far as retirement goes, you know, for some of you guys it might be something that's really far away, for some of you guys maybe a little bit closer. 65 is what kind of the average retirement age is here in the U.S. It's what most people look at as far as when, you know, retirement is a reality. For Social Security, when we're going to draw on that, it's really more like 66, 67 for most of us when we're full retirement age on Social Security. You know, as far as trying to determine how much do we need to retire, you know, 80% of your paycheck is what most people would say is the average that the average person will need when they walk away from their job. So, you know, if you were making $100,000 a year when you were working, you probably need to make about $80,000 a year in retirement to keep that lifestyle going. That takes a pretty big number to produce that sort of income in retirement. So it's important that we're saving in these things and taking full advantage of the retirement plans that are available to us. So, you know, where are we going to pay for these, you know, costs in retirement? You know, about a third of that's going to come from Social Security. You know, we've all been paying into that our whole lives. Nobody asked you to come into a room and sign up for Social Security. They just take it out of your paycheck, right? I'm always curious. You know, I've been doing this for a long time. I've asked the same question to a lot of employees, and very few people know the answer, which I always think is kind of interesting. Do you guys know what percent of your check you're currently putting into Social Security?
Third.
It's a good guess. For all taxes, for sure, a third at least.
4%?
4. That's a close. So it's actually 6.2%. So every dollar you make.
Gross or the net?
What's that?
Of the gross or the net?
Of your gross income, up to about $125,000. If you make over that, then they stop taking that Social Security out. But it's, you know, pretty sizable amount. 6.2.
Guys, it just started. You can sign in and come on in.
So 6.2 cents. Hollandia also has to put that into the Social Security system. So over 12% of your pay is going into the system, and you know the reality is there's not a whole lot that we're going to get back out of it. For those of you who have been paying attention to your Social Security statements, they've pretty much stopped mailing them out because they can't afford to anymore. So you have to go online now to pull up your own Social Security statement and see kind of what you might have coming when you get to that age. Everything else is up to us, and that's why I think things like this retirement account are so important. You know, when we're looking at something like retirement, it's very far in the future. We have to consider the fact that, hey, things are going to cost a lot more, you know, 20, 30, 40 years from now. So, you know, maybe we live on, you know, we live on $50,000 a year today. By the time we retire, it might take $100,000 a year to kind of live the same lifestyle that $50,000 pays for today, and that's just because the cost of things goes up over our lifetimes. I'm sure you guys have all felt that. For those of you who maybe have older grandparents, I think that's why they always like to talk about how crazy the prices have changed over their lifetime. Things used to be so cheap when they were younger, and how crazy expensive things are now. And it's pretty crazy over a lifetime how much the cost of things can go up. We need to plan for that when we're looking at something like retirement. So, here's just a few examples of things that, over the last 20 years, what the average costs have gone up. Now, these are national averages. We're here in California, everything's a little bit more expensive here. So I'd say these numbers are probably a little bit low, but the same thing is we've got to plan for the fact that things are going to go up over time in cost. So here's really, I think, one of the more important slides for those of you who maybe don't understand the time value of money, kind of how the compounding really benefits you inside of these accounts. So here's just an example of two different investors. So Sam's 24 years old. One of his first jobs, has a plan like this, decides to start saving $250 a month out of each paycheck. Sam keeps that amount saved all the way until he's 65 years old, then is going to stop working and retire off his balance that he's built up. Sally, on the other hand, takes a little bit longer to get started. Age 25 gets that first job, but thinks other things are more important, don't think it's time to save yet. Around 40, finally decides, hey, it's time to take this seriously and start saving for my own retirement. So Sally saves $500 a month. So Sally has to save twice as much out of every paycheck than what Sam did. Fast forward till retirement, even though Sam saved half as much out of each of his paycheck, he's actually going to get about $1,000 more per month every year, every month in retirement from the day he stops working until the day he passes away. And again, the difference there is really just starting early. You can also see here, in Sam's case, by starting younger, he actually only had to take $123,000 out of his paycheck over his whole life of saving. All the rest of that came from growth. Versus Sally, who had to save $150,000 out of her pay over those later years in life, didn't have nearly as many years for it to grow, so ended up with a much lower value, even though she actually put more money in the 401k over time. Does that all make sense? So again, if there's one thing that I would stress, it's start early, start with what you can afford. You can always ratchet up from there. This isn't like health insurance where you get one time a year to make a decision and you're stuck with it. This is the type of benefit where you can enroll, you can see how it feels, and you can make adjustments from there on future paychecks. So why use the plan? Automatic payroll reductions. This makes it very, very simple. So for those of you who are already enrolled on the Mass Mutual side, whatever you were doing over there, those contributions have come over to the Vanguard side, and we've just kind of picked up where you left off over on the Mass Mutual side. For those of you who have not already enrolled, if you've been here 6 months and you're eligible for the plan, we can actually get you enrolled in the plan today while we're here, or make sure that you know how to do that when you're ready. But once you're enrolled, it just comes out of your check each payroll. You can do as little as 1% if you're not sure. Probably won't even notice you did it, but over time you'll start to build up an account. It is your account, so no matter how long you stay here, when you eventually move on to your next employer or retirement or whatever comes next for you, you do get to take this money with you. So all of your contributions that you put in over time, employer match, which we'll get into in a second, you also get to take with you, and then potentially some profit share dollars as well, depending on how long you work here. So pre-tax and after-tax Roth, I want to touch on this. I think this is one of the things that a lot of people don't put a whole lot of thought into, but I think it's really important from a financial planning standpoint. Pre-tax is what we're all familiar with for the most part when it comes to 401k. Pre-tax means, hey, if my normal monthly gross pay is $5,000 a month and I choose to enroll at 10% and they take $500 out of my check and put it in the 401k, now I'm only taxed on $4,500. So I probably just saved myself $200 in taxes by putting that $500 into the plan. Once that money is in the 401k, it's going to grow tax deferred, and then eventually when we retire at 59 and a half or older, that's when we're going to pay our taxes on that money on the way out. Roth is something that I think is very valuable. Not a lot of people use them, but I think everybody should consider Roth, whether it's inside the plan or outside the plan in a Roth IRA. But Roth is basically the opposite as far as how taxes work. So with Roth, you put money in after you've already paid taxes, so it's not going to save you any money on making the contribution the way a pre-tax one would. But once it's in the account, it's going to grow tax-free for the rest of your life. So as long as you leave it until you're 59 and a half or older, you're going to get all those years of earnings, and you're not going to have to pay a penny in taxes on any of that growth. So it's a really good way to kind of hedge against potential high taxes in the future. We don't know where taxes are going to go. I would guess they're probably not going to go lower. If anything, they may go higher. A Roth is a good way to kind of plan for that by putting some of your contributions
Do
in.
you guys offer the Roth?
Huh?
Can you take what your existing plan is and roll it into a Roth right now?
Not inside the plan, you cannot. That is kind of a new IRS rule that is up. It can be done. Our plan doesn't yet allow for that.
And that's your option, that you chose not to do that?
No. No.
So when would that become available to us?
I would know. I can talk to, if that's something that's important to you, I can talk to the
Okay.
group and get back to you on that.
But a follow-up question on that, if you are able to go from regular 401 into the Roth, you are going to pay the tax.
Exactly.
That's the
Right.
kicker.
Yeah, so anytime you're converting from pre-tax to Roth, there is a taxable event, right? Because you've got money that you've never paid taxes on before and you wanted to move it into an account where you'll never be taxed again. So however much you convert from one to the other becomes taxable the year that you do it. Where we see that a lot is outside of the plan. If you have IRAs, those are very easy to convert to a Roth IRA, pay taxes on those. Inside the plan, it's a little bit more complicated because they have to deal with tax withholding and stuff and payroll and everything. That's why we're not quite there yet.
And also what your tax bracket is at that time, correct?
Exactly.
Got it.
So they would say, this is what you made without doing the conversion. Now you convert $50,000. They just add $50,000 on top of your income, and that's what you pay taxes on.
Got it.
So for some people, it can make sense. Again, if you're considering those sorts of things, those are perfect type questions to sit down with us and help you kind of crank through the numbers and see does it make sense or not. For some people, it might. For others, it might not. So your company does offer a match. So you basically get 50 cents on the dollar up to $1,000 per individual. So every person can get up to $1,000 of free money by just putting money into the 401k plan. So you have to put in $2,000 to get $1,000 of free dollars from the company. So if you're eligible, you've been here 6 months and you're not doing that, I would encourage you, start now. Let's get you enrolled. Let's get that free money going to your account. There's very few places in this world to get free money. This is one of them, so don't pass it up. Even if money's tight for you, I would argue if you don't make as much money as you'd like to, and someone's trying to give you more money, then you should figure out a way to get that. And again, we can help you figure that out. On top of that, there's also an annual profit share where the company will just put in some additional profit share dollars for everybody. It's based on a percentage of your pay, and the amounts change a little bit. You don't have to do anything to get it, but you do have to stick around a while to keep it. So that's on a vesting schedule. It's a 2 to 6 year graded vesting schedule. So once you've been here 6 years, all that balance and its growth is free and clear for you to take with you. We already talked about the Roth a bit, so I won't spend too much time there. But again, I would highly encourage you to consider that. Again, take that free money from the company, the match. How much should we save? I would argue if you got started right in your first job and you just hit the ground running and started saving, I would say 10% is probably a pretty good number. If you have young ones that that are getting started, wondering how much to kind of save, if you did 10% your whole life, you'd be sitting in pretty good shape when you're in your 60s. The reality is most people don't start with 10% right out of school, and they let some years go by before they get started, so we're already kind of playing catch up for a lot of people. So, a lot of people would argue somewhere between 12 and 17% of your pay is where the average person needs to be when it comes to saving. Now, in your case, the employer is doing some of that for you. But again, I would highly encourage you to do as much as you can there. The upper limit is $19,500 this year. So that's how much you can put away. The limit went up $500 from last year. So again, you could put $19,500 in the plan and not pay taxes on that much of your pay that you otherwise would have to pay taxes on. And then for anybody that's over the age of 50, there's a special catch-up contribution called catch-ups, which is another $6,500. So you can actually get up to $26,000 now in total by using the two combined.
What was the age on that?
Age 50 or older, and it's the year you turn 50. So even if you turn 50 in December, you can do that extra money this year, and that could be pre-tax or Roth. Again, I mentioned, San Diego's an expensive place to live. We don't all have a ton of free money to be saving for these things, but I think everybody understands it is important that we're saving. So, if you're on a tight budget and you're trying to figure out ways, sit down with us. We can kind of help you go through a little budget and figure out, hey, where is somewhere where I can maybe afford to to trim a little bit so I can afford to put this money away and get this free match, we're happy to sit down and help you figure those things out. If you're already saving and you understand that, hey, you're not saving enough to reach your goals, maybe we can find a way to save a little bit more. Whatever the case is, again, feel free to sit down with us. We're happy to kind of help you determine these things. On the investment side, so we're going to talk about this now. Most of the investment discussion I really like to do in a one-on-one situation, just because there's generally a wide range of investment knowledge. There's probably some people who have traded stocks before on a daily basis. There's probably other people who have never heard of a mutual fund. So we want to kind of keep it fairly basic here in the group setting. But again, if you want to sit down, look at your account, get into the details of the investments, we're always happy to. But basically, you really have a few options inside the plan. One is by default. I get enrolled, I don't even pick anything, just, hey, you guys do it for me. If that's you, then what we're using are what are called target date mutual funds that Vanguard manages. So Vanguard is one of the biggest money managers in the world. We chose those guys over your prior target date funds because the cost is about a quarter of what you were paying for the same type of funds in the Mass Mutual plan. So you can enroll, we'll automatically put you in the one based on when you're going to turn age 65. So if you're going to turn age 65 in the year 2040 and you don't choose an investment, we're automatically going to put you in the 2040 mutual fund. And that's going to kind of keep you on track for that as your retirement age. By design, this is you actually going and choosing your own risk-based fund, saying, hey, maybe you're trying to put me in a 2040 fund, but I'm not really going to retire until 2050. So I'm going to put all my money in that 2050 fund instead. Again, you have control to move your funds that way. Then the third option is if you just really like to do your own investing. You maybe either like researching it, you like trading, you like maybe believe you can outsmart markets or whatever. You want to manage your own account and you want full control over it. If that's you, we do have a wide range of investment options available for you, ranging from index funds to actively managed funds. Everybody should have been sent some information about that. If not, we brought someone who can send it out as well. For those funds, what we did is fund mapping. So if you had a balance before and you were in, let's say, an S&P 500 fund in the prior plan, that money came over and it went into the S&P 500 fund in this plan. So we try to keep everything as like to like as we could. The reality is most of the money in your whole plan has all been in target date funds, which for a lot of people is a good way to do it. Again, it keeps you out of trouble. Questions on that? And then, if you really want to kind of get custom, Vanguard does have some really great tools. You can log in and kind of create your own portfolio. Again, you're welcome to sit down with us, and we're happy to walk you through that as well. So how to enroll, how to make changes to your account are both really in the same place. This can also be done on your phone. If you have internet access on your phone, you can do this. But basically, there's two places. One is an 800 number you can call. English, Spanish, you can give instructions there. They can look you up based on your personal information, and you can tell them what you're trying to accomplish. Alternatively, you can go to the Vanguard website, my.vanguardplan.com. If you've not ever gone there, please do go register. That's where you're going to put your beneficiary information. That's where you're going to make adjustments to your account if you want to make adjustments to your account. That's where you're going to change your deferral rate. If you want to change from 5 to 10% or whatever the case is, that's all done through the Vanguard website. It is mobile friendly, so again, you can log in right through your website and make on your phone and make those changes, adjustments on your phone. Again, today or later, whenever the case is, anytime that you need assistance, have questions about this, please contact us directly. The 800 number to Vanguard, they can take your instructions. You can tell them what to do, and they'll listen and they'll do it. But they can't give you any advice. So if you're trying to figure something out and you maybe need a little guidance, that's where we come in. Or if you're just not sure where to go, just come to us. We'll make sure and help you accomplish whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish as it relates to your retirement account. Again, that's our office line. You're welcome to contact myself, Irina. My partner John will be joining us a little later as well. He's always happy to help if one of us is not available. And then I would encourage you at least once a year, take a look at your account. I mean, these are meant to be simple where you can set it up and not have to pay a lot of attention. But I've seen a lot of horror stories where people, didn't look at it for a long time, and then we go back in and look at it, a decade later, we realize that we've really missed the boat on certain things by just not paying attention to their account. So once a year, take a look, make sure everything's doing what it should be doing for you. And again, I would say that's a good time to ratchet up those contributions. You went all year with 5% last year. At your annual review, see if you can't go from 5% to 6% for the following year. You'll probably barely notice that incremental change. So again, 6-month wait. Once you've been here 6 months, we have 2 times a year that new people can join. So most of you, I think, have already been in the plan. You're already eligible. But anybody that's new, once you've been here 6 months, if you hit your 6-month mark in 2019, then you're eligible now. If you just hit your 6-month mark in the first part of this year, then you'll be eligible to join on July 1st. Those are the 2 times a year that new folks can join. Again, pre-tax or Roth deferrals, $9,500, $6,500 catch-up, and then the 50 cents $100 up to $1,000. The plan does allow for loans. If we end up in a scenario where we have a cost that we didn't expect and we need to access some of these funds to kind of get us through a tough time, you can actually borrow against your account and pay yourself back interest. For most people, it's not the best option, but there are definitely some cases where it's better than the alternative of a high credit card or something like that. Anytime you're taking a loan from a 401k, you're definitely costing yourself some future dollars because that money's not growing the way it would have been if you didn't take a loan. And then 59.5 is normal retirement age. So that's something that was set by the IRS. That's what our plan uses as well. So once you're 59.5, you're considered normal retirement age. That's where you're able to start drawing money out of this account and not paying penalties on it. If you were to take money out of your accounts before you're 59.5, you're going to pay taxes on it, and then you're also going to pay a 10% penalty because you're not yet of age to access this. I guess just touch on, when you do eventually leave here, whether it's retirement or otherwise, you can take this money with you. So if you go move on to somewhere else and they have a plan and you want to move your balance over to their company's plan, you can always do that. Or you can set up what's called an IRA, an individual retirement account, roll your balance into an IRA and then kind of take control from it there. But it is portable. It is something that you'll take with you when you leave. Again, I would encourage you all to log in and register through your phone or online when you have a chance. And then I'm going to show, there's just a real quick guided tour of it. We're running pretty tight here. Let's take about a minute.
Welcome to your retirement website. It's simple by design and created with your needs in mind. This intuitive, easy-to-use experience is one you can appreciate. Start by registering your personal account if you haven't already done so. Your info is always kept confidential. Simply log in and you're on the way to saving for a better retirement. If it's your first time at the website, you'll need to take a few easy enrollment steps before you can start saving. A clean dashboard only displays what you need. It features easy navigation and the most important figure right up front, your current balance. A short scroll down and you'll see how that balance changed over time and get an overall glance of your investments. Want to change things up with your account? Simply check My Account for all the options and actions available, like managing investments or updating your savings rate. All your info helps calculate your potential monthly income in retirement, displayed prominently to keep you on track. So, how are things looking so far? Retirement Outlook lets you clearly and quickly modify figures in real time, so you can find the monthly savings amount that works best. Quick Links is always here to help with decision making. It offers the data you want and the actions you need to take without having to search the whole site. Important tools right at your fingertips, so you can get things done in a snap. Experience design that keeps your needs in mind. With information that's easy to find, easy to review, and easy to revise, your plan's website will help you simply save for a better retirement.
So that's the new website for those of you who haven't logged in. Really simple, clean website, very easy to use and find the information that you need. Again, if you wanted to sit down with us and log into your account and just make sure things are in the right place, we're always happy to do that. I believe for today we're kind of tight on 30-minute slots with the new group coming every 30 minutes. But if that's the case, feel free to ask questions. If you wanted to, kind of have us put you down to reach back out and talk about whatever later, just let us know on your way out that you want to talk, and we'll make sure and reach out to you so we can connect on whatever questions you might have. Okay. So that's what we had. Again, for those of you who are not in, let's get you started, and for those of you who are, let's make sure that everything's where it needs to be. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Did everybody sign in? If you didn't, please do on your way out. Yeah.
Camera there.
Yeah.